Mary Magdalene is a figure shrouded in both biblical significance and enduring mystery. Setting the context of her story involves delving into her representation in historical and religious texts, as well as how these interpretations have evolved over time. Traditionally, Mary Magdalene is described as a devoted follower of Jesus Christ, prominently featured in the New Testament. She is often identified as the first witness to Jesus' resurrection, embodying a pivotal role in Christian narratives. This introduction is crucial as it lays the groundwork for understanding her complex identity and the broader implications of her story. The significance of setting this context lies in unraveling centuries of misconceptions and clarifying her true role. For much of history, Mary Magdalene was mistakenly depicted as a repentant prostitute, a narrative largely popularized by Pope Gregory I in the 6th century. This misidentification overshadowed her true contributions and clouded public perception. By accurately presenting her story, we not only do justice to her legacy, but also explore themes of redemption, faith, and gender roles within religious history. For example, contemporary scholarship and religious debates have increasingly acknowledged her as a leader among Jesus' disciples. Her portrayal in the Gnostic Gospels, such as the Gospel of Mary, presents her as a figure of wisdom and spiritual insight, challenging traditional patriarchal perspectives in religious contexts. Additionally, modern cultural interpretations, such as those in novels and films like The Da Vinci Code, have sparked renewed interest and discussion regarding her role and status within the early Christian community. However, there are challenges and controversies surrounding her story. The lack of explicit biblical evidence leaves room for varied interpretations, leading to ongoing scholarly debates about her true nature and significance. Some theologians argue over the appropriateness of certain non-canonical texts, while others advocate for a more inclusive consideration of her contributions. This point connects to other aspects of Mary Magdalene's story by highlighting the intersection of historical documentation, cultural narratives, and religious beliefs that have shaped perceptions of her identity. It influences discussions about gender dynamics in religious texts and how marginalized figures can be reevaluated through modern scholarship. Understanding the context of Mary Magdalene's story allows us to appreciate her not just as a biblical character, but as a symbol of faith and resilience, whose story continues to inspire diverse interpretations and discussions today. Mary Magdalene, a central figure in Christian history, has long captured the imagination of scholars and believers alike. The heading, Historical Background and Early Life, seeks to uncover the enigmatic beginnings of this pivotal character. Mary Magdalene is traditionally understood to have hailed from the town of Magdala, a fishing village on the western shore of the Sea of Galilee. This geographical detail is crucial as it sets the stage for understanding her socio-economic and cultural context. Magdala, being a prosperous town, implies that Mary may have enjoyed a relatively affluent lifestyle before encountering Jesus. The significance of her background lies in its profound implications for Mary Magdalene's role in biblical narratives. Her story challenges the perceptions of women in ancient societies, illustrating that women were active participants in religious and social movements. Mary's early life and subsequent transformation serve as a testament to the broader inclusivity of Jesus' ministry, which sought to transcend social and gender boundaries. One real-world application of exploring Mary's historical background is in theological education, where her story is used to discuss women's roles in early Christianity. Furthermore, her narrative has inspired numerous artistic interpretations, from medieval paintings to modern films, which seek to explore her character in greater depth. Opinions on Mary Magdalene emphasize her importance as a figure of female empowerment and spiritual leadership. Many contemporary theologians argue that her close relationship with Jesus, as depicted in various apocryphal texts, suggests she held a more prominent place among his followers than traditionally acknowledged. However, challenges and controversies abound. Some critics argue that historical records are sparse and often contradictory, making it difficult to separate legend from reality. Additionally, Her portrayal as a repentant sinner, largely stemming from misinterpretations and conflations of biblical texts, has sparked considerable debate. This has led to alternate viewpoints that advocate for a reassessment of Mary as a devotional leader and key figure in early Christian communities. Mary Magdalene's early life and historical background influence other aspects of her story, particularly her role in the resurrection narrative, where she is depicted as the first witness to the risen Christ. This pivotal moment underscores her significance in the Christian faith and invites reflection on themes of redemption, witness, and transformation. By understanding her historical context, we gain deeper insight into how Mary Magdalene's story has shaped theological discourse and cultural perceptions of women throughout history. Mary Magdalene's role in biblical narratives is a fundamental component of understanding her multifaceted character within Christian tradition and literature. In the Gospels, she is mentioned as a devoted follower of Jesus, most notably appearing at critical moments such as the crucifixion and the resurrection. Her depiction as the first witness to the resurrected Christ has cemented her place as a pivotal figure in Christian theology and tradition, embodying themes of redemption, faith, and the transformative power of divine love. The significance of Mary Magdalene's role in these narratives cannot be overstated. She is often portrayed as a symbol of unwavering faith and devotion, representing not only the steadfast commitment of early Christian followers, but also challenging traditional gender roles within the scriptural context. Her presence at the empty tomb and her commission to announce the resurrection to the apostles underscores the radical inclusivity of the gospel message, emphasizing the importance of women in the early Christian community. One specific example of her influence is seen in the Gospel of John, where Mary Magdalene is depicted as encountering the risen Jesus and mistaken him for a gardener. This profound narrative moment has been theologically interpreted to illustrate the transformative vision granted through faith. Another example is found in the Gospel of Luke, where Mary Magdalene is listed among the women who supported Jesus and his disciples out of their own means, demonstrating her integral role in the sustenance and growth of Jesus' ministry. Opinions on Mary Magdalene often highlight her significance as a prototype for Christian discipleship, with many theologians and scholars regarding her as an exemplar of female agency and empowerment within religious contexts. However, challenges and controversies arise from historical misinterpretations, such as her erroneous identification as a repentant prostitute, a conflation not supported by biblical texts. This misconception has sparked much debate among scholars and within the church, illustrating broader discussions on the portrayal and roles of women in religious texts. The exploration of Mary Magdalene's role in biblical narratives also influences broader discussions about redemption and identity in the Christian faith. Her story invites ongoing dialogue about the inclusivity of spiritual narratives, challenges traditional gender-based interpretations, and calls for a reassessment of the historical and theological contexts in which biblical figures are understood. By delving into her role, we not only uncover layers of her character, but also enrich our understanding of the early Christian movement and its enduring impact on faith and spirituality today. When exploring the topic of Mary Magdalene, unveiling the mystery behind her story, the examination of depictions in art and literature reveals a fascinating narrative. This concept refers to how artists and writers across centuries have portrayed Mary Magdalene, contributing to the complex and often conflicting interpretations of her identity and role in Christian theology. Her depictions are significant because they reflect the evolving perceptions of gender, sin, redemption, and spirituality in different cultural and historical contexts. One exemplary depiction is found in Renaissance art, where Mary is often shown as a penitent sinner, capturing the narrative that she was a reformed prostitute. This image is famously depicted in paintings like The Penitent Magdalene by Titian. Such portrayals have deeply influenced popular understanding, often overshadowing her role as a prominent disciple of Jesus. In literature, Dan Brown's novel The Da Vinci Code sparked renewed interest and controversy by suggesting Mary Magdalene had a more significant role in the early Christian church than traditionally acknowledged, perhaps even as Jesus' wife. This interpretation reflects a modern reassessment of her story, challenging conventional narratives and inviting a reevaluation of her place within the biblical canon. Supporters of these diverse depictions argue that they highlight the need for a broader understanding of women's roles in biblical history, suggesting that traditional views have often been too narrow. Scholars like Karen L. King assert that these depictions, while varied, open up discussions about the historical Mary and her contributions as a leader among Jesus's followers. However, there are challenges and controversies associated with these depictions. Critics argue that some portrayals, particularly those suggesting romantic ties with Jesus, are speculative and lack historical evidence. The interpretations often depend heavily on apocryphal texts not recognized by mainstream Christianity, leading to debates about their legitimacy. These artistic and literary representations influence other aspects of Mary Magdalene's story by shaping theological debates and inspiring feminist and religious studies to reconsider her role. They frame her as a multidimensional figure whose story mirrors broader societal issues regarding gender and authority, thus contributing to ongoing discourse about women's representation in religious narratives. By unraveling these depictions, we also unveil layers of social history, illustrating how societal values and the quest for identity have historically influenced religious storytelling. This exploration enriches our understanding of Mary Magdalene, inviting both reverence and re-examination of her legacy.